All right, this is Unit 6, Lessons 1 through 9 quiz, version B. Number 1, a rocket is shot up into the air. Time after launch in seconds is represented by t. The height of the rocket above the ground in feet is modeled by the equation h of t equals 20 plus 70t minus 16t squared. Select all the true statements about the situation. So in order to do this, we need to put this into Desmos. So if you get out your little cheat sheet, remember, instead of putting h of t, we're going to put a y. Instead of those t's, we're going to put x's. So this is what we're going to type into Desmos. Then if you can't remember how to do that little 2, you can either use, remember, you can use that caret, that up arrow, and I think you press shift and 6 for that. Or if you go down here to this little keyboard and pull it up, you'll see like this, the little 2 button that you can press, okay? After you type this in though, we are gonna have to adjust our window. So don't start zooming in and moving things. Instead, go straight to the wrench. And for your x-axis, you're gonna change it to -2 and 6. And for your y-axis, you're gonna change it to -10 and 100. And then if you click anywhere on the graph, that's gonna kind of disappear and you'll be able to see everything you need to answer these questions. So you're circling the statements that are true. A, the rocket is 70 feet above the ground when it is launched. B, the rocket hits the ground at 4.644 seconds. And this might not be exact, maybe we rounded here. C, the rocket is the same height 1 second after launch and 2 seconds after launch. D, the domain of function h only contains positive values in this context. So when we're talking about the domain, we're talking about like all of the seconds. So when we're talking about this rocket being launched, do all of our like seconds have to be a positive number, or can we have negative time? E says the value t equals 10 does not belong to the domain of function h in this context. This is kind of tricky because we have one of those does not, but we're talking about true or false. So they're asking does, when we're talking about like our domain, does like t equals 10 seconds belong in the domain? So if you think it does not belong in the domain, you will circle this because that means it's true. It does not belong. If you think one of the times that the rocket was in the air was 10 seconds, then you won't circle it. So you're only circling it if you do not think that 10 seconds was the time that the rocket was in the air. F says the rocket is 20 feet above the ground when it is launched. All right, number 2. The function f is given by f of x equals x squared minus 4x. Which statements are true about the graph that represents f? So again, we have to use Desmos. So if I pull out my little cheat sheet, at the bottom, we're going to type in y equals x squared minus 4x because we're not going to use that f of x. And then you don't even need to change the window. As long as you make sure you click on, like after you clicked this X and retyped this one, make sure you click this little home button and it'll recenter. And once it's recentered, you should be able to see your entire graph, everything that you need. So it's important though that you're clicking this button when you are, like when you type this new one in, okay? Then, so we're circling the true statements. A, the x-intercepts are at 0 and 4. B, the coordinates of the vertex are 2, -4. C, the graph has a y-intercept at 2, 0. D, the graph is a U-shape that opens downwards. All right, on the back. So we're just writing each expression in standard form. So just make sure that it doesn't matter if you put your 2x and your -5 on the top or on the sides, as long as they're in order and they stay together. So make sure that you're, multiplying your boxes and then adding your diagonal and then writing your final answer like underneath it. It'll be easier for me to see if you write it underneath. Number 4 is not meant to confuse you. When we have x plus 7 squared, remember when something is squared, it's just x plus 7 2 times. So this is what we are using. Like the other class, they just see it like this. but I'm telling you that this means x plus 7 and x plus 7. So you'll have an x and a 7, an x and a 7. Then you can just continue to solve and put your answer here. And then number 5, just do the same work. We have x plus 5 and an x minus 5. And the last one, number 6. The function f of x equals x times 160 minus 10x gives the revenue in dollars that a school makes if it sells 160 minus 10x hats for x dollars. So we're talking about the amount of money a school is going to make when they sell hats for certain amounts of money. So again, let's go to Desmos, and then I would flip my little cheat sheet over, and for this one, we're going to put y equals x, parenthesis 160 minus 10x, parenthesis. And again, we have to change our window. So if you go to the little wrench, for our x-axis, we're going to start at -5 and go to 20. For our y-axis, we're going to start at -100 and go to 800. And once you put those in and then click over here, you'll be able to see your whole graph, and it'll give you all the information that you need to answer this one. So the first question, A, what is the vertex? So you're going to have something in parentheses, with a little comma in between. Then it says, what does the vertex tell us about this situation? So we're seeing what these numbers tell us about how much they're going to make and how much they're selling these hats for. Then what are the x-intercepts? So you're going to have like the two places where your graph crosses the x-axis. And then D says, what do these x-intercepts tell us about this situation? So this is definitely for B and D. If you have that review from yesterday that we did, it's going to be very helpful because it tells you pretty much what these things mean in this situation. And then E, it says, how much can the school be expected to make if they sell the hats for $5? So if our X value is $5, how much money would they make? All right, that's it. I hope you did a great job.